Hey y'all, welcome back. Today's inspiration comes from the brand new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride at Epcot and the queue line specifically. The queue is gorgeous. The ceiling is as if you were looking out into the galaxy, and that view changes often. And this last picture is the actual inspiration for the first card. I'm going to be using some Distress Oxide inks and some glossy photo paper. I start by using my fine mist sprayer and just giving my glass mat a pretty good spray. And then I begin dropping my Distress Oxide reinkers in just blobs. I used the new Tim Holtz Distress Oxide color called Uncharted Mariner, Fossilized Amber, and Mermaid Lagoon. Okay, I'm going to give my glass mat a really good soaking of some water. And I believe I am adding some spiced marmalade to the mixture. I wanted it to be a little brighter. Some more water, get those ink colors moving. And the fun part, just dump that glossy photo paper in and then let it sit. I believe I let it sit for about 30 seconds total. Look at that, beautiful. I'm going to add some additional ink and water and do it all over again. I had so much fun with this, you guys. I probably made 12 different prints. Here I start adding some red with the green, a little bit of blue. Wait till you see this. It's just beautiful. And then I let it sit to dry, and I'm going to sop up some more ink. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit because I don't want to bore y'all, but truly I had an absolute blast making all of these backgrounds. They came out phenomenal. By now, y'all get the idea of just play. I had a fantastic time, I'm not going to lie. I probably spent over an hour making different backgrounds. Unfortunately, I did lose some footage on how I wiped clean the glossy paper. I tried a number of things from paper towels to microfiber cloths. Ultimately, what I found was use a wet baby wipe. It did the best job. And just look at these backgrounds. They are absolutely stunning. So much to do with them. I was trying to figure out which of the backgrounds I wanted to use for my card, and this is the one that I chose. I did use some of my homemade shimmer mist I made with some 91% alcohol, and I used my all-purpose ink, and it is in Frost White. I filled up the little, it's actually a hand sanitizer mister that was empty. I just added some isopropyl alcohol and a few drops of paint and shook it up. And then I sprayed my glossy photo so it would give it kind of a shimmer effect. Next up, some black cardstock that I cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I am going to use that same white frost ink and just a finger dauber. I do use the finger dauber inside of the cap so I don't contaminate the ink bottle itself. And then I just go ahead and I make my own kind of shimmery paper. If you don't have that type of ink, you could use a metallic pearl white ink. This one is from Folk Art, but that would work just as well. I'm bringing back my original print now. Still a little bit wet from the shimmer mist, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick dry with my heat gun. I'm using my Infinity dies by Hero Arts so that I can get the circular shape of the ceiling at the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. And I'm going to figure out which part of the photo paper I want to use for my background. And then go ahead and die cut it out. I've also made a frame of white cardstock by using 2 dies that are next to one another in the Infinity set. And now I'm going to figure out just where on the cardstock panel I want my background piece to be. I've decided to place my circle in the center of my card panel, and I'm going to glue it down with some liquid glue. This is the Ranger Multimedia Matte in just a precision tip bottle that I got on Amazon. I'm going to apply my white outer ring with some Barely Art Precision Craft Glue this time. I find the Barely Art glue is a lot looser than the Ranger Multimedia Matte, and it just suited my purpose at this point. And I'm just going to line it up and place it down. You will get a little bit more wiggle room if you apply the Barely Art fairly thick on your project. And then I'm just going to hold it down with some acrylic block here. If you will recall, in my inspiration photo, there was a white ring that went around the base, well, actually the entire ceiling, but you can only see it in the base of the picture. So I wanted to kind of emulate that, and I'm using some glossy accents to do that. I am just going to line my entire white circle with glossy accents and then let it dry. To obtain the base of my design, I cut a smaller circle out, and then I use the same circular die to cut just an edge off of it. Then I simply cut it in half, flipped over the pieces, and created my base. Decisions, decisions, where to place the base. I've decided to use a sentiment that I thought was absolutely perfect. It is from a Tim Holtz mixed media set, which included the stencil that I did not use in this project, but I will link to that later. And the sentiment is shine like the stars. Once again, I am using my Barely Art glue, and I am gluing down the base of my pattern here. Then I'm just gonna flip it over and snip off the tails because I don't need those now. Back to glossy accents at this point. Finish off the base of my pattern. Y'all, I am an impatient crafter, but I had to let this dry. Now to decide if I want a black sentiment or a white sentiment. Ultimately, I decided to use VersaFine Black Onyx ink on a white sentiment, and then I placed it in the center of my galaxy. I finished off the edges with some pops of color and glitter silver, and then I kind of used my finger to make comments across my sky. Y'all, I had so much fun making these glossy photo paper and ink backgrounds that I did want to show you some other things that you could do as well. I did die cut some of them. I also embossed some of them. So here's some cards. With the blue and pink background, I made a happy birthday card. I used some of the yellow and green backgrounds to make these great die cut flowers for a happy birthday card. And finally, I embossed and paint splattered and ink blended and die cut to make a hello card. I want to encourage you to find inspiration in the things that you love. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried this technique and how it worked out for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time.